we talked about your role to the consumer, to the people who consume your work. What is the government role to creatives?
Right, right. It's an interesting question. I think it's a sharp question that has two sides that could kind of cut you, you know. um, I think it is any government's role to create an enabling environment
Yeah.
for the development of its people
Mm-hmm.
and for the actualization of their dreams and their vision and that sort of thing. So that's the first thing. If we're talking an enabling environment, we're talking things like copyright
Yeah.
legislation,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? We're talking things like legislation that dictates what percentage of radio content or media content should be local,
That's right.
right? We're talking opportunities for education. We're talking opportunities for exhibition and display of these
That's
arts
right.
and crafts and talents.
That's right.
Um, we're talking legislation that protects and encourages investment into the arts and culture, right? So you're bringing in equipment, you get, you don't have to pay customs, right?
That's right.
You uh, an organization sponsors an event, they know that they can claim taxable on that, right?
It's an industry. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's an industry, so it has to be supported by policies and legislation and initiatives and interventions that feed the industry. You know, um, uh, that being said, though, and this is the other side of that sword, right? Or that coin. Let's not talk about swords. Let's talk about coins. The other side of that coin is that as Caribbean people, sometimes we tend to sit back and expect government to do certain things.
Yeah.
And if government doesn't do what is necessary, not saying that they shouldn't, we then throw our hands up in the air and say, well, you're not getting this, you're not getting that. It don't make sense. I think that's problematic as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that creatives should rally and band together
Mm-hmm.
and support each other and pool resources. Like you said when you started, this endeavor is not for the faint of heart. Um, it involves a lot of risk, financial and otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if we're not talking things like the production of a big show or concert, um, the hours spent, that is time and energy. That's resource.
That's right.
Um, we dedicate our life force to the creation of art.
Content. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, why not give it the best chance of thriving and survival by pooling our resources, by coming together, by supporting each other? It's a solitary craft, but there also is a point at which you can congregate. We can congregate as creators, and support each other. So I think it's not just as simple as saying government needs to do this, though they do need. It's also our responsibility. We born to do this work. We
Yeah.
got to do the work.
Yes. Yes. Mm. Like it. I like that.
Yeah.
Good. And let's move now finally to the role of the people who consume our work. What
Ah,
their, what is their responsibility to the artists, to the creators?
yeah, boy. That's something that I've been hitting up against so long in Trinidad. And I know it's a similar situation in Guyana. And I suppose it's the things that haunts the creative and has haunted the creative from the beginning, right? I mean, they say Van Gogh didn't sell one painting before he died, right? Um, there has always been this schism, this deep divide between artists and the community that he or she is creating art for. And we talk about the success stories, right? But what we don't realize is that those success stories compared to the number of people creating in any generation, those success stories are actually few and far between.
Yeah, girl.
Um, so the majority of creatives, the majority of artists are creating their work in the dark. you know, hoping that somebody will hear, somebody will read, somebody will see, somebody will buy. Um, and the funny thing about it is sometimes I get angry, and I think the society is shallow, it's superficial. They're not
Yeah.
hearing, they're not seeing, they're not digging, they're not doing the work.
We live in a cross society.
And then yeah, but it's interesting, right? Because we're part of society.
Yeah, yeah.
What does that say about us? You know,
Reflection of
um,
us. Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, we can't separate ourselves. It's not that simple.
I like that. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, yeah. Martin Charter talks about all are consumed. That's what he was talking about. We're all part of this web and at the bottom of it, at the root of it, we're all culpable. We're all responsible.
Yeah.
So I do have my moments, and they're often of frustration. I do have my moments of despite what you see on social media, right? Don't forget social media is curated. Right? So yes, there are successes and there are moments of joy and resonance and all of that. But I do feel sometimes that the community that surrounds me, the society, the Caribbean, the West Indies, um, even the world generally, um, it's becoming much more difficult to find those connections because people are becoming more and more distracted. There's so many things vying for our attention. We have such short attention spans. TikTok, Instagram. If your message isn't, you know, 30 seconds long, nobody watches it, right? And what we do, Cassandra, the work that we do requires a bit more than 30 seconds of your
Yeah.
attention.
That's right. Yeah.
It requires you to dig deep and sit down, and so there is a role that the community and surrounding society plays. Um, but it's not as simple as to me. It's not as simple as just saying, "Oh, you're not listening." You know, we're wrong with all you. it's 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 complex. It's complicated. Yeah.
Ruth, how do you deal with criticism?
Not very well.
Ruth, let's plug your upcoming collection of poetry. Uh, um, the title, just let's start from the title.
The title is All Made of Longing.
Explain.
Yeah. So I wrote most of the poems in the collection during lockdown in Trinidad. Um, all of a sudden, I couldn't meet with my band to practice music, to share new music, to perform. And what happened, I think, was I sort of, that creative flow sort of diverted
Yeah.
and went into poetry,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Now, I studied poetry in university. Um, Madam Jonas, Joyce Jonas, was one of my poetry lecturers, and she
Wow.
really encouraged my love of
Yep.
poetry.
Yep.
Um, so it's not a new genre for me. And I always dabble in it. Every now and again I would write a poem. Whenever I get my heart broken, I write a poem. That sort of thing. Um, but during the lockdown, the COVID lockdown, all of a sudden I had this great amount of time, um, and we were home, and I started to write. And I realized that one of the themes that runs through my poetry since I started writing, not just over the past 3 years, but even before when I was a teenager, when I was in university, is this reaching for,
Longing
this
for.
longing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it be for love, whether it be for self actualization, whether it be for the divine, there's so many aspects to it. But I realized that seems to be a current or a theme that ran through a lot of my poems. And so when I started to collect the poems and to think about the publication, it seems that All Made of Longing would be a good title,
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
apt title for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Good. And it's at publication stage now, is it?
Yes, it is. It is. Manuscript has been done, edited. We should be getting the proof in a matter of weeks. Once we're good with the proof, the hard copy. My publisher said, she said, Ruth, when you get that proof in your hands, you're gonna want to sleep with it. You're gonna want to eat breakfast with it on your lap. You're gonna want to go in the bathroom with it. She said, you're not gonna want to put it down. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Good luck.
But once we're good with the proof, then we go into publication.
Good. Good luck. Good luck. And we're waiting to see it. We're
Thank
waiting to
you.
see it. Yeah.
This one is called the center. Here we stand, palm to palm, a spider's web spanning ocean. Our threads anchored to brutal history, buoyed by renegade winds. Along the arc of our intentions, fugitive futures bloom, tight buds, tethered to loam, nurtured by hands grown craggy with toil, grimed with the soil of our aspirations. Here is the center. In the fellowship of trees, dancing to the wind's labre, here is the center.
Wow.
Where feet drum earth and rum flows to the gods of marinage. Here is the center. Where old stories gather flesh and come alive as we blow on their bones. Here is the center, the black hole that pulls us in and through to new horizons, blue with promise. Here is the center, here is the center, here is thee. center.
And I hope for you that the center holds